Okay friends, today I am going to explain the recently released movie Bhakshak. This film is mainly based on crime and drama in which Bhumi Pednekar is playing the lead role. Let's begin. At the beginning of the movie, a place called Munawarpur in Bihar is shown where a girl was screaming in pain and a man named Pappu was laughing at her. After a while, Sonu reaches there and asks why the girl is screaming so much. Then we find out that Pappu was molesting that girl, so the girl was screaming in pain. Now the condition of that girl deteriorates significantly. Then Sonu calls a doctor and tells him everything. Then after a while they both kills that girl. Then they go to the crematorium and ask a man to burn the girl's body in return for money. Then Sonu tells the man to keep it secret as this is Bansi Sahu's property. After that, the man burns the girl's dead body. In the next scene, we see Vaishali Singh, a reporter, who receives a call from a man named Gupta who was her informer. Vaishali meets Gupta who gives her a government audit report in which there was a report of child abuse in Munawarpur's child shelter home. Vaishali initially refuses to take this report because it is the job of the police to take action on these matters, but Gupta says that the job of a news reporter is to bring out the truth, and the police are not doing anything in this case because many powerful people are involved in this scandal. Vaishali takes this file from Gupta and says that he will get his payment soon. The next day, Vaishali went through that report which makes her realize that something wrong is happening with the girls in Munawarpur's child shelter home. Then in the next scene, we see Bhaskar Sinha who is Vaishali's cameraman, and we find out that Vaishali's attempt Koshish news channel is not doing well yet, but Vaishali dreams of making her channel big. Vaishali now reports daily news on her channel with her cameraman and then goes home in the evening. Then at Vaishali's house, we see her husband Arvind who works at the post office. From Vaishali and Arvind's conversation, we find out that Vaishali's channel is not doing well and Arvind's family members are pressuring Vaishali to have a child. But Vaishali says that she will have a child only after achieving something. The next day, Vaishali leaves with Bhaskar ji to investigate Munawarpur's child welfare home about child abuse. When they reach the child welfare home, Sonu comes and drives away Vaishali and Bhaskar, calling it a private property. Vaishali understands that something fishy is going on here. Vaishali now goes to her sister-in-law Mamta's house in Munawarpur, where Mamta and her husband Suresh insist Vaishali to have a child soon because it has been 6 years since their marriage. After that, Vaishali meets Mithilesh Sinan, the head of Child Welfare Committee, and tells him about child abuse with little girls and shows him the report. But Mithilesh does not help Vaishali because he was already involved with them. Here we see Arvind Singh receiving a call from Bansi Sahu who tells him to say his wife to stay away from Munawarpur. Vaishali now reaches home at night and Arvind tells Vaishali about Bansi Sahu's threat and takes away key of her car so that she does not go to Munawarpur again and stay away from this case. The next day, Gupta comes to Vaishali and tells her about Bansi Sahu, who is a very powerful man and catching Bansi Sahu will not be easy. Vaishali and Bhaskar now go around nearby shelter homes to find out about Munawarpur's shelter home, but they don't find out anything. Then Vaishali goes to her channel and reports on child abuse in Munawarpur's shelter home. Reporting on the abuse happening to the girls, Vaishali has informed people that even after the report of the NIS, the government is not taking any action on the atrocities being committed on Munawarpur's girls. After that, Vaishali and Bhaskar go straight to meet Bansi Sahu. When Vaishali talks to Bansi Sahu, he is very arrogant and indirectly threatens Vaishali that if she comes in his way, he will not spare her and her family. After this, Vaishali reaches her home and a fight breaks out with her husband because he was telling Vaishali to stay away from Bansi Sahu's case to keep her family safe, but Vaishali says that she cannot stay silent after seeing the abuse happening to these little girls. Now we see Vaishali and Bhaskar ji visiting different shelter homes to inquire. Then Vaishali finds out from the owner of a shelter home that there is a girl named Shuddha who used to cook food there earlier in Munawarpur's shelter home. Vaishali now calls Sudha and asks her about the truth of Munawarpur shelter home, but Sudha is completely silent in shock and does not say anything. Disappointed, Vaishali starts to leave when Sudha stops her and tells her everything in tears. Then we see a flashback scene where Sudha, who was from a poor family, was given a job of cooking food at Munawarpur Girls' Welfare Home by her father. There, Sudha meets a woman named Baby Rani who used to take care of all the girls in the shelter home. Baby Rani takes Sudha to a room in the shelter home where all the girls were staying, and seeing their condition in such a small room, Sudha is shocked because so many girls were living there and their condition was very bad. Sudha now gets busy with her cooking work. Then after a while, a girl comes and tells Sudha that whatever she is seeing here is not true, and she should leave quickly, otherwise she will be killed. Suddenly, Baby Rani comes into the kitchen and starts beating the girl and compels her to leave from there. Then at night, Sudha suddenly hears a noise outside because someone was screaming. When Sudha quietly looks outside, she sees two men carrying a girl on their shoulders. When Sudha follows them, she finds out that those men were putting the bodies of the girls in bags and taking them in the car. Seeing this, Sudha gets very scared. Then Sudha quietly goes to the girls' room in the shelter home where Baby Rani was also abusing the girls. After that, Sudha goes upstairs from there and sees Mithilesh, the head of the Child Welfare Committee, abusing a girl, which makes Sudha understand everything about what happens with girls in the shelter home. Then she quietly goes to her room and starts crying. The next day, Bansi Sahu comes to that shelter home where he meets Sudha. Then Baby Rani tells Sudha that he is Bansi Sahu, who is the owner of the shelter home. If you keep him happy, he will keep you happy. After a while, when Sudha was serving food to the men, she sees that Bansi Sahu's men have beaten a girl badly, which made her realize that she must escape from there as soon as possible, otherwise these people will do the same with her too. One day, Sudha finally gets a chance and escapes from Munawarpur's shelter home, saving her life. After this, she comes to another shelter home as a cook. After knowing all this, Vaishali found out all the truth about Bansi Sahu and the shelter home, which made her feel very sad for those girls, and she starts thinking about how she can save these girls. In the next scene, Vaishali meets Suresh, her sister-in-law's husband, to file a PIL against Bansi Sahu. But Suresh does not say anything about it because he knows Bansi Sahu's power. So Vaishali leaves after telling him everything. Then a few days later, Sonu tells Bansi Sahu that someone has filed a PIL against them, which makes Bansi Sahu's mind disturbed because if the case is filed, he will be trapped. So he goes to Brij Mohan Singh and tells him everything and asks him to suppress this matter by any means necessary. Upon which Brij Mohan says okay, he will take care of it. Bansi Sahu knew that Brij Mohan was only thinking about himself, so Bansi Sahu tells him that if he gets caught, he will take everyone down with him. Vaishali asks Bhaskar ji to viral her news on social media so that Bansi Sahu's truth can be revealed about what he does with the girls. Meanwhile, Sonu comes to Bansi Sahu and tells him that he has found out who filed the PIL against them, and it was none other than Vaishali's brother-in-law Suresh, as he was a lawyer. In the next scene, we see Vaishali going to the hospital because Bansi Sahu's men had beaten Suresh badly. Vaishali now talks to her sister and goes to the police station to file an FIR against Bansi Sahu. But the police do nothing against him because of Bansi Sahu's influence. Vaishali then meets Suresh, and we find out that Suresh did not file any PIL, and he advises Vaishali to stay away from Bansi Sahu for the safety of her family. Then we see Vaishali's husband Arvind coming to support her because he realizes that Vaishali is doing the right thing. Bhaskar ji now tells Vaishali about the new SSP of their city, Jasmeet Kaur, who is a very brave and honest police officer and can help them in their case. The next day, Vaishali meets SSP Jasmeet Kaur with Bhaskar ji and shows her the file where Jasmeet already knew about Bansi Sahu's case as she had seen Vaishali's news channel. Jasmeet tells Vaishali that they cannot arrest Bansi Sahu just based on suspicion, and the report Vaishali gave could also be false. Jasmeet tells her that they need solid evidence against Bansi Sahu to arrest him, but for now, she orders to arrest Sonu as he had beaten Suresh. Later, we see the police coming to Munawarpur shelter home to arrest Sonu, but Bansi Sahu threatens them and makes them leave. Then Gupta ji tells Bhaskar ji that he filed the PIL, which led to the beating of Vaishali's brother-in-law Suresh. After that, we see Jasmeet Kaur showing Vaishali's file to her senior commissioner, but it was not an official file, so the commissioner does not take any action. Now at night, Jasmeet calls Vaishali to explain that they cannot do anything without evidence and that Bansi Sahu is too powerful for the police to touch. Jasmeet tells Vaishali that now only she can help herself. The next day, Vaishali and Bhaskar ji make a plan together, and Bhaskar ji goes to meet Social Welfare Minister's husband Brij Mohan, where he tells him that they have evidence against Bansi Sahu, Baby Rani, and him in this case, and Mithilesh is their witness who will take them all down. Upon hearing this, Brij Mohan gets scared. In the next scene, Vaishali directly takes Bansi Sahu's name on her channel and questions his shelter home, which catches everyone's attention. Gupta ji now tells Vaishali about a man who was killed by these people because he knew the truth. Meanwhile, Brij Mohan informs Bansi Sahu that Mithilesh is betraying them by becoming a government witness. Bansi Sahu and his men then beat Mithilesh severely. But later, Bansi Sahu finds out that there is someone else who could be betraying them, and it could be none other than Vaishali. Vaishali now reports on the news channel where she points fingers at the Social Welfare Minister, which makes him worry. Now we see Social Welfare Minister Rajni Devi receiving a call from the CM asking her to take quick action on the Munawarpur shelter home case as Vaishali's news had spread everywhere. Vaishali is sitting in the car with Bhaskar ji when she receives a call from SSP Jasmeet Kaur informing her that an FIR has been filed against Bansi Sahu, and they will arrest him soon as the case has come under the Protection of Children Against Sexual Offence Act. The committee will go through, and the head there is Bansi Sahu's man, meaning they now need direct evidence to put Bansi Sahu in jail. Vaishali knew who the witness was, which was Sudha Kumari, and she had seen everything with her own eyes. So Vaishali goes to Sudha to ask for her help so that she can save the girls at Munawarpur shelter home. But Sudha refuses to believe as she was very scared. Then, as Vaishali starts to leave feeling defeated, Sudha comes her to help. Now we see Sudha revealing the truth about Bansi Sahu and his men on Vaishali's channel, exposing what happens to the girls at Munawarpur shelter home. The next day, SSP Jasmeet Kaur arrives with her entire police force at Munawarpur shelter home, where she sees that the condition of all the girls inside the shelter home is very bad. Jasmeet arrests the all culprit and takes them into custody. In the end, Vaishali shares her efforts on the channel to tell everyone that we should all come together against evil practices. She says that humanity is the greatest religion and we should always speak up against wrongs, and the movie ends here.